Cheers!
Cheers. Sorry for the maniacal laughter. This is Halfway Planet.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. I'm Laurence.
I'm Tarah.
And we are Halfway Planet. We're
Woo.
not. That's the name of the series. We are a married couple. And in fact, that's precisely what this episode is about. We just recently celebrated 11 years married. How do you feel?
Great.
Good, me too. I have to confess that, last year we already did a video to this tune. It was the 10-year anniversary, which obviously feels a bit more special because it's 10. People like the number 10. But we thought, we've gathered, we've probably multiplied our YouTube following by about 3 since then. So I thought to you newbies to the channel, firstly, as you did last week, I want you to meet my wife Tara and just to get an understanding of why she puts up with me. And that's what this is really about. 11 years.
It's going to be really hard for me to convey that to you because I'm not sure myself.
How dare you? This is going out. My parents are seeing this.
I know. Hi, guys.
You'd already convinced them that this was the real deal.
I can't wait to see you guys in May, by the way.
Yeah, but she doesn't want me to come by the sounds of it. 11 years she's had to put up with this.
Yay!
And but I'm glad she did because I think, don't tell her this, but without her, firstly, this channel wouldn't be anything near what it is today. You see me, you see what I do on the screen, but you don't see what happens behind the scenes. Tara is the administrator, as we pointed out last week. She is the lawyer of this channel, and gosh, do I need one.
I am so not a lawyer, so...
Not legally, but unofficially, she is my lawyer and has been for the last 11 years of marriage. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I feel unwelcome after what you said about me at the start of this.
Oh, I didn't mean it.
I'm joking.
I'm
trying to get the sympathy vote. So 11 years, married to an American, firstly, of course. That's something I don't know that early in my life I ever imagined would be the case. Of course, I did have aspirations of knowing America more, as I've pointed out in many a video. But I didn't know that this would be the route through which I would achieve that. So it's kind of interesting that I'm here because I think when you sort of go back in time and you imagine what your life would have been from that moment forward, I don't think anybody's life pans out quite how they're going to how they imagined it back then, does it?
No, I didn't think I'd marry at all. So
yeah, well, I was the same way. So it's quite a miracle that we even ended up marrying at all. I think, much less transatlantically. Is that a word? It's a good adverb.
Or as young as we did.
Or as young as we did. But again, that was more out of necessity, wasn't it? That we both we wanted to live together, of course, but to do that, we had to be in the same country. And to do that, we more or less had to marry, unless she found a way for me to get sponsored by a business or something of that ilk. So we did it.
And of course, if you saw last week's video, you'd know that there was no way that was going to happen.
What she's saying is, in my 20s, I was a bit of a bum loser. Are you going to please dispute that?
To be fair, when I did meet him, he was working at Boots.
What's wrong with that? That's a respectable job. She's talking about Boots the Chemist in England. I worked for the chemists in the ladies' hair products department.
He sold flat irons, guys.
I was a great salesman, actually.
He wasn't. They let him go.
Yeah, but after a month, I mean, they gave me a full 4 weeks. Over the Christmas period, I might add. I miss Boots. I don't miss working for Boots. No offense.
I miss Boots. Boots was great.
Does it still exist? I know a lot of, during the recession, a lot of these shops went into administration. Woolworths went out of business.
Yeah, but Boots was like the British...
Boots? CVS.
Yeah, there we go.
The British CVS, in a way.
Yes.
In a way. I mean, there are differences. We could talk about those, but...
So why don't you tell us in the comments below, does Boots still exist? Is there a better alternative that we should check out in May?
Yeah, because we're going to England. It's happening. There's no getting around that. Not that I want to get around it. I mean, I'm ecstatic that we're going to England, but we're going to rediscover things we'd forgotten about. Yeah, away now for, we're talking about 11 years of marriage. That more or less coincides with the time we've been here. We only got married some few months, 9 months before we actually moved here. So most of our married life has been away from England, and we do not know what's come and gone, with the exception of sort of notable things like Woolworths. So,
and we also know that it's been a period of, shall we say, great change in the UK.
I bet it's about the same. I don't think much has happened, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Any newsworthy news events that have occurred? Nah, nothing. Yeah, it's going to be the same. Can't wait. I've heard there's a lot of fly tipping. That's when you stick all the trash in the middle of the street. That's what I'm told is happening in Grimsby. Can't wait to see it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it might improve Grimsby. I didn't say that. I grew up in Grimsby. I can slag it off if I want.
Have you seen their Christmas tree last year?
Oh, it was
By
so
the way.
sad. It was so sad. This is what our Christmas tree was. This Grimsby Town Centre. That's what they did. No, I'm kidding. Anybody that's from Grimsby and's watching this and is appalled that I just slagged off my hometown. I love Grimsby. I have fond memories of growing up there, and I do miss it, and I can't wait to be back there. We are going to hopefully produce a video from Grimsby. It's going to be really sad and nostalgic with really weepy music that I composed.
Outside of the Blockbuster.
Yeah, there's a Blockbuster.
Do you remember when we were there? We were actually confused that the Blockbuster still existed, and that was 10 years ago.
But it'd be a
I don't know if it actually exists now, but what I can tell you is if we walk by that building, there will be some sad music playing.
There will, because Blockbuster by its very nature is sad. I mean, what a terrible decision it made during the recession to not do what Netflix basically is doing. I mean,
it did it, but it was bad.
It was poor. I don't know how we got onto this subject. Back onto us. We've talked about this before. People have asked me, what's it like being married to an American? And I don't really have anything to compare it with because I've not been married to anyone else.
Thank goodness.
Officially. And so, with that being the case, I can't really answer it. I mean, what can you say? It's not like Americans are so vastly different from the rest of the world. There are probably, I mean, obviously, you get caught up in the trap of trying to understand each other's sort of different words and things like that, but that's well documented, and at this point, I'm more or less, I hope, somewhat of an expert on that.
I also think that that's the kind of thing that you do in the first couple of years of marriage, just because it's a novelty or whatever it might be. Yeah. And then it very quickly dissipates because you've already gone over all of them. Yeah.
Well, and then for me specifically, doing this channel, you're less interested in what's different and more interested in why it's different and the history that comes with that. You've seen my Distant Words videos on that very thing, and that's something that Tara and I equally talk about, is that sort of aspect to it. It's fascinating, isn't it, how we, America and Britain, arrived at these different states, both linguistically, but also culturally and in terms of things like food and all of that. Food is another area, I think, where we've sort of found either common ground or differences over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and, you know, living in the UK and studying in the UK gave me an appreciation for British food. And so when we moved back here, after we had already been married, then I all of a sudden really craved the things that we had spent, you know, our first however many months of marriage.
Yeah, you should see her after the mushy peas. You love them. She doesn't.
No. Yeah. Anything that's too vinegary is not my style. But the point is, you know, we missed the Yorkshire puddings, we missed the sausage rolls, we missed all the, well, in my case, I really missed the scones as well, or scone, for those of you who pronounce it that way.
I could go either way for the record. I'm open like that.
But either way, like, I missed all of those things, and so I started experimenting pretty early on in our relationship, and our marriage, with baking and with cooking British fare. And so, like, over the years, it's kind of melded into this really interesting amalgamation of both British and American fare that we eat pretty regularly.
But on the theme, in fact, of sausage rolls and British fare, quick plug, if you go to Tara's website,
oldfashionedaf.com,
then you can see some of Tara's recipes for creating the greatest sausage rolls on this side of the Atlantic. It's hard to find sausage rolls on this side of the Atlantic, so I don't know how big a compliment that is, but they are actually fantastic. And I miss them. Because we've not had them in a while, not since Christmas, that's all.
Maybe I'll make some more after, you know, we both can fit into old shirts again.
She took the hint and insulted me in one sentence. So I'm fat. I've got fatter.
No,
because
I'm
of the sausage
fat.
rolls. Well, I am, because of your sausage rolls, and because I got lazy. Anyway, so that's that. Really excited, I think, for more sausage rolls, and that's all I'm thinking about now. The end of this video is going to be me drooling.
The food is, yeah, I mean, like, there are so many cultural differences that once you get married, they just kind of, you find your own way. That's the reason why I said jab last week instead of shot.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes I don't even know which is which, the British or the American word, how something might be British or American, or, you know, when I first learned a specific term or a specific way to do things, just because after 11 years of marriage, plus some time together, plus living there and living here, it just all gets kind of muddled.
All that to say, you know, I think 11 years to a great relationship, not between you and us. I've only known you for about 4.
We like you too, though.
You're good. You've been part of this, but not for 11 years. Good for you in many ways, but here's to 11 more, and, well, just the rest of our lives in general. I mean, 11. It doesn't have to stop. That's it with the clinking now. It doesn't have to stop at 11 more, but where will we be in 11 years' time? What year is that? That's going to be, 2030. We'll almost be on Mars by then, and so will other people. Yeah, that was a joke about how she and I are going to Mars. Probably not going to happen.
Might. Who knows?
Good. We are travellers, but not that far. That's it. Thank you for watching this episode of Halfway Planet. We have plenty more in the pipeline. Until next time, that's it from Laurence, and that's it from
Tarah.
Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and if you would like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.